Read passage 2, Aunt Joan, in the insert and answer all the questions below. Passage 2, Aunt Joan. Aunt Joan was frequently confused because she lived alone and was, I thought, often lonely. I regularly went to her small apartment to chat with her. Sometimes she was perfectly rational, while sometimes it was as though she was seeing the world through a mist. But she had enriched my life, and I knew I would be greatly im- impoverished if her companionship were suddenly withdrawn. One day I heard a disturbing story about Aunt Joan, which reached me through a well-intentioned friend. That morning she was in a local market and noticed my aunt examining several items at a stall, while glancing nervously over the shoulder from time to time. My friend then realized that the stallholder was also watching Aunt Joan, although he pretended he wasn't. So they both witnessed the moment when my aunt picked up a child's bracelet and stealthily dropped it into her pocket. Then, with a haughty expression, her head held high, she attempted to walk away, when the stallholder stopped her and asked her to see what was in her pocket. She flung the bracelet across the stall with an arrogant gesture, crying, "What do I want with your tawdry, tawdry trinkets?" When I visited Aunt Joan that same evening, she was unusually quiet. She just looked out of the window as though she had not even heard me. I went into the kitchen to make us both tea, but when I opened the cupboard, I was dismayed to find an ill-assorted collection of cheap objects, which were clearly unused. Three egg cups, a great quantity of white ribbon, four children's coloring books, and a necklace of gaudy beads, all with labels still attached to them. It had clearly been going on for some time. A week later, when I called in to see Aunt Joan, she was sitting at the table, busy with notebooks and pencils. Fetch me my spare pair of glasses, Mary, she said as I entered. They are in the second drawer in my bedside cabinet. What made me pull open the third drawer? It was not intentional, but the sight almost paralyzed me for several seconds. I thought I would choke. The open drawer revealed several gold bangles, six diamond rings, and a few pearl necklaces, a small fortune in jewelry. I was familiar enough with Aunt John's past life to know there were no riches like that in our family. I had no concept of time passing until I became aware of Aunt Joan behind me in the bedroom. As she saw the open drawer, an ominous silence developed that was broken when Aunt Joan hissed, "How dare you meddle in my affairs?" It was so shocking I had to sit down on the edge of the bed. Gradually her old face assumed a tired, almost pathetic quality. She whimpered, "Don't tell anyone, and they'll take all my pretty things away, and then they'll take me away." Her eyes filled with tears, her lips trembled, and the toll of tiny hairs descended on her as she crumpled into a sobbing wreck. "Of course I don't tell anyone," I said unwisely. "It's a secret, I promise." The awfulness of the dilemma hit me when I went home. What on earth was I going to do? I promise, a promise is a promise, but theft is a crime, and that seemed to me to be the only possible reason for Aunt Joan having these valuables in her possession. Somewhat anxiously, I went to visit Aunt Joan again the next day. This time she made the tea, and while she was in the kitchen, I took the opportunity to look in her bedside cabinet once more, but now it was empty, as she made no reference to my discovery of the evening before. I fondly imagined that she had forgotten about it, but now I knew that she had not forgotten a thing, and had taken the precaution of hiding the jewellery elsewhere. But where, I wonder, if it was there in the first place, or did I dream the whole thing up? I said to myself. Later, the tea things cleared away. I was chatting with Aunt Joan, albeit nervously, and she was sewing as she put her work away into her capacious sewing bag. She dropped the bag, and a shower of gold bangles, rings, and necklaces rolled across the floor. An embarrassed silence followed. Neither of us knew what to say. What on earth would happen next? Passage to Aunt Joan in the heart in the insert and sorry. Read passage to Aunt Joan in the insert and answer all the questions below. Paragraph 1. Why did the writer regularly visit Aunt Joan? Aunt Joan Aunt Joan lived so lonely at her place. In what way does the writer indicate that Aunt Joan was frequently confused? It seemed that she was seeing the world through a mist. Paragraph 2. The two things did Aunt What two things did Aunt Joan do which showed that she knew she was doing something wrong? She was glancing over the shoulder time to time. She stealthily dropped the bracelet into her pocket. Aunt Joan attempted to walk away with a half-due expression, her head held high, gave one word used later in the paragraph which continues this idea: arrogant. Paragraph 3. Why does the writer think that the objects in the cupboard were clearly unused? They still had labels attached to them. It had clearly been going on for some time. The word "it" refers to the act of shoplifting. Paragraph 4. What mistake did the writer make when Aunt Joan asked her to fetch her spare pair of glasses? She opened the third drawer even when she had been asked to fetch in the second drawer. It was not intentional, but the sight almost paralyzed me. For several seconds I thought I would choke. Lines 24 to 25. Describe in your own words the writer's reaction to what she saw in the drawer. She had not yet recovered from the feeling of committing her mistake when she suddenly happened to see what she could not believe, that is, gold jewelry, and so she was struck astonished and felt suffocated. Paragraph 5. Why did Aunt Joan go into the bedroom? It was Mary uh, took longer in the bedroom than she was expected. Aunt Joan hissed, line 30. What emotion do you think she was feeling? Anger. A promise is a promise, but theft is a crime. Line 36. Explain in your own words why the writer thought she had a dilemma. Mary had promised her Aunt Joan to keep the secret of her aunt's theft to herself. She felt herself morally bound to be trustworthy and to save the honor of her aunt. On the other hand, she had some legal obligations as well that meant communal peace and safety. Thus, she was on dilemma. Paragraph 6. The writer looked in Aunt John's bedside cabinet once more, but now it was empty. Lines 39 to 40. What was she looking for? She was looking for Aunt's jewelry just out of curiosity. Why was the drawer empty? Aunt John had moved the jewelry away from there onto a safer place. 9. What paragraph, from paragraph 1 to 7, for each of the words below, circle the letter A, B, C, or D, which has the same meaning that the word has in the passage. Enriched, improved, fortune, wealth, ominous, threatening, fondly, foolishly, capacious, large. Reread passage 5 and 6, which contains sentences telling us what John said and what the writer said. Give the meaning of each sentence as it is used in the passage, the effect of each sentence as it is used in the passage. They'll take all my pretty things away, and then they'll take me away. Meaning, they will arrest me and recover and take the stolen items from me. And the explanation makes the writer sad and sorry of her aunt. She wished her aunt had not gone that far. I wonder if it was there in the first place, or did I dream the whole thing up? I said to myself, meaning it was unbelievable for the writer what she had seen and discovered about her aunt. Effect. The writer was left to her wish that her aunt had been not that wrong. It was quite astonishing and confusing to find out the solution to help the aunt out of trouble.